This is the only reason I'm questioning that I picked 10 books. Okay, this is about to fall. Ugh. Hey, I'm Danielle, and today we are talking about the personal development books that I'm reading in 2021. So whether you're an avid reader or you've never read a book by choice before, but you're trying to get there, I've got some good suggestions for you today. And a little background on me as a reader. For quite a while, I did not consider myself a reader. I really did not pick up a book by choice until about halfway through college when I started getting into personal development and learning about Tony Robbins and Marie Forleo. Google them if you don't know who they are and you'll find some good stuff. That's really when I started to read, and it's been off and on since then. And on that note, the reason that I picked out 10 books to read in 2021 is actually because 2020 was a trip, as we know, for all of us. And I actually realized at the end of the year that I had not read a single book from cover to cover in all of 2020. I don't know how it happened. I think there was just a lot going on and a lot of change, and I was focused on other things and just adapting. But that kind of freaked me out. I was like, how did this happen? Like, I've been a reader, I've loved books, I've really enjoyed personal development, and somehow I didn't read anything but like snippets of books last year. So as I was planning out my goals for this year, I said, I am gonna finish the dang thing cover to cover because reading the first 20 pages of a book is not gonna do much. And there are books that I really wanted to read, and I wanted to make sure that I actually saw that through. And how I did it was I took the goals that I made for this year and I like had it in my notebook and sat it in front of me. And then I've got several books that I've never actually gotten the chance to read around my house. So I like went around my apartment and like looked at the different books and thought, okay, does this kind of fit with my goals? Am I interested in reading this? Or, you know, going beyond the first 20 pages that I read at one point. And that's how I picked out 10 books, but actually it was 9, and there was one book that I did want to buy. So I tried to really pick from the pool of books that I already own and never got the chance to read or finish, and that's how I came to this list. So I am excited to share my reading list for this year. So naturally, starting with the book that I'm reading right now. Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. You heard me mention her in the beginning. I've been a fan of her since, I think, 2014. And this is like a really good book to get at the basics of personal development and just to get excited about what's possible and to really have an open mind about what you can achieve. This is actually one of 3 books in this list that I'm reading for a second time because when time passes, you've experienced different things and you can actually go through with a different lens when you repeat read. So going through for a second time, and I'm sure I'll get something new from it this time. I actually talked about this in another video, so I'll link it here in case you want to hear more. What's next? Okay. Big Potential by Shawn Achor is a good one. I got, let's see, 46 pages in. Really loved it at that point, and for some reason it kind of fell off my radar. But this one is really about how you can achieve more through the connections that you have than just like hustling on your own. At least that's what I remember of it. And just this is really good for just remembering the value of the connections in your life if you are an ambitious human being. This is in no particular order, by the way, but the next one here is The Power of Habit. This one is really popular. I've heard people mention it a million times, and oh, there's a photo in this one. Oh, it's a photo of my friend. Shout out to Leah. Sometimes I use photos for bookmarks. Anyways, this one is just really practical. It's kind of a psychology book, and it just really shows you how to build habits. And the reason I picked this one is because all my habits went to crap in 2020 just because everything was changing. And so this is gonna help me kind of reestablish some of the habits that I know are useful in my life. This is Marketing by Seth Godin. I think I bought this one pretty recently, and he has plenty of books that I've never read before, but I've always loved his interviews. This is something that I just want to learn more about, and I think he takes a unique perspective on marketing as a whole. So got this book. Seems like it'll be a pretty quick read, and I'm excited to dive in. And Seth Godin tends to just like think differently about things when everyone's kind of singing the same song. That's what I've noticed in his interviews. He's a pretty big name in personal development, and I think it'll be a good one. Emergence. This is a repeat read, and I was obsessed with this book in like 2017. It's not very well known. It's by Derek Rydell. This is essentially like, if you've ever heard people talk about the law of attraction, I'm not a huge fan because it's like a lot of what people talk about with the law of attraction is like imagine a Ferrari and you'll have it in a year or something. And like, it's just either very materialistic or like very like, it's all in your head, your entire life is in your head. But I don't know, I just don't really click with that. And I think he kind of takes a different perspective on it to say like, it's the qualities that you're representing and what comes out of you, if that makes sense. And so it's really about like bringing more out of yourself and like the work you're meant to do. And so I thought this one was interesting. Again, not many people know about it, and I was just like obsessed when I first read it. So I want to go through it again because this is another one of those that like, it's been a while since 2017, and I think I'll take a different perspective this time around. I'm pumped to read this again. And another one by the same guy. I took off the cover, don't know where it is, but this one is about abundance. And I'm working on mindset a lot this year, so I think an abundance mindset and really focusing on seeing the opportunities rather than thinking that opportunities are scarce. I think I read a few pages of this one when I first bought it, and I really liked the metaphors he used. So this will be a good one for mindset. It's called The Abundance Project, also by Derek Rydell. The Mastery of Love. This one is by Don Miguel Ruiz, the same guy who wrote The Four Agreements, which is one of my favorite books of all time, and I just wanted something softer to add to this list, something for the heart. Obviously, a lot of these are like goal or mindset, like go get it, habits, like very concrete, and I just wanted something that was a little bit more spiritual and like heart-centered, so this is that pick. Originals by Adam Grant. I have heard this recommended several times. This is the book that I know the least about, but I just decided to go for it. Another one that I just randomly owned because I bought it when someone recommended it to me, but never actually put it kind of on my list. So this is just about being a nonconformist, and I don't want to do things like the rest of the crowd. That's just kind of a part of me that's innate. So I figured I might relate to it at some level. I think it has a lot of stories about like different companies doing things to kind of break the rules. So we will see how this goes. The War of Art. This one has a special place in my heart. I love this book. If you want to do something creative, but you're feeling this resistance, as he calls it in the book, all these blocks are coming up, this self-doubt, this just like insurmountable challenge in trying to do the thing that you're trying to do, you need to check out this book. It's a super easy read. He's got kind of this like sarcasm that is so lovable, and he does just an amazing job of sharing his own stories as a writer and being challenged for years with just doing the thing. So definitely check it out and you will not regret it. And last but not least, Grit by Angela Duckworth. This book gets talked about a lot, and this is actually the only book from this list that I bought for reading this year. The others I just had around and had started at one point or was rereading in the case of a few of them, but Grit I'm excited to dig into because it's about perseverance and passion and how you keep going, and if something doesn't work, you try something else, and if that doesn't work, you try something else. So I think this will just be a really, really good book about like sticking with it and going for the thing that you're really excited about. So wanted to add this one to my list, and that's why I bought it. So that is the lovely 2021 book list. I'm excited to make my way through all of these good reads and just kind of see what I can learn from them. I really want to dive back into reading, as you can tell, just after being astounded how little I read in 2020, and I'm sure there are plenty of excuses I can come up with, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I just am excited to read more this year. So on that note, let's talk a little bit about how you build a reading habit and stick with it so that you can actually finish the books that you start. So the best thing that you can do to stick with a reading habit is to figure out what time of day and or time of week you are going to read. So at one point in my life, when I was really consistent with my reading habit, it was because every day at 1 o'clock, and at that point I had like a non-traditional work schedule, every day at 1 o'clock I would read for like half an hour. And that became a habit after I did it enough times. And so I was making my way through my books, and even half an hour a day will get you pretty far. In other forms, that could look like always reading on the weekends, and that's what you do, during the day on a Saturday or something. I don't know. It depends on your schedule and how your life looks like and when you just figure out when you have this little gap of time, test it out. And if it's not working, change it. So like if you want to try to wake up earlier and read, but then that's just not working, maybe try to go to bed earlier. If it's still not working, then maybe read at night, you know, just be flexible with yourself until you find this pocket of time that you can consistently read so that you make your way through the books that you really want to finish. The other piece to this is just keeping the book near you. Like take it with you when you go places, put it next to you when you're like sitting on the couch on Instagram, and then maybe when you get tired of like looking at people's Instagram stories, you just grab that book eventually, or maybe you keep it right next to your bed so every night it's just right there. Just put it in that convenient spot or keep it right next to you so that it's super easy to grab, because we want to like create convenience in those situations where we're trying to build a habit. So having it right there, you know, if you were trying to eat healthy, you would put salad ingredients in your fridge. Super obvious, right? Do the same thing with your book and just keep it right there next to you, near you, when you want to build that habit. So I hope you found it interesting to hear what books I am reading in 2021. If you want to learn more, definitely check out the description box and I'll put links to the various books that I mentioned. And we will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want more videos from me about personal growth and career development, then definitely click subscribe, and I hope that you have a lovely day. Bye. All right, so I don't know what, in the description, I think I have some good picks here. I'm like proud that I didn't just buy all these on Amazon and forget about them, because actually that's what happened at one point with most of these, and that's why I'm reading them now. But anyways, and read a little bit more. Woo, okay. Trying to take a good thumbnail photo, and you're about to drop all your books.
Hi, sweet girl. Hi, sweet girl. I love you. I love you. Hi, yes. Sweet girl.